shit. Let's mop up that mess. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show where the Oilers fall 7-3 at the hands of the Washington Capitals. Close one. I'm kidding. They were terrible. They were so bad this weekend. Edmonton falls to 34-19-4. Washington improves to 38-11-8. The Caps have not lost in regulation in a month. Jack was talking about they hadn't lost in regulation in Capital One Center since like November 25th or something like that. Absolutely owned the Oilers this afternoon. All right, you can text us 780-218-9999. People have a lot to say right now. They're fired up and spicy as they should be. The Oilers getting their asses kicked again. Absolutely horrendous weekend for the Orange and Blue. They get outscored 13-6. Two of those goals in garbage time in the third period. Goaltending, bad. Defense, bad. Forwards, bad. Coaching staff, bad. Just bad all around. And it showed. The results proved it. They were absolutely terrible this weekend. GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Gazzola, Salas, and Belle coming up. Nancito. Like, I don't even know if you're angry. I think you're just more disappointed than anything. You were watching that debacle.
Oh, yeah. At least yesterday, there's a few players you could save and be like, hey, they gave an honest effort. And listen, they started well. They got the first goal. Yep. They were skating better. They were doing a lot of things well. But, I mean, after that first goal, it was all Washington. The lack of attention to detail in the defensive zones. How many times was there a guy left wide open in front of their net? How many times? At least four. How many turnovers? Like, towards the end of that game, Tom, the last 10 minutes, the Capitals were dancing the Oilers. They were toying with them.
The Oilers barely played in that third period.
I mean,
they got a couple of goals due to gifts that the Caps gave them.
Yeah, no one good tonight. Goaltending, not good enough. Special teams, awful. 5-on-5 play, awful. Knoblauch's lines, good on you, man. You wanted to go with Podkolzin. Wait.
How good was Podkolzin and Kapanen with McDavid today?
They were all -3.
That's good, right?
They were all -3. Bouchard and Ekholm, again, -2. Emerson and Nurse struggled as a pair. Klingberg with his worst game as an Oiler. He was in La La Land for most of this game. I don't know where he was. I mean, he's the only guy that didn't go on a vacation because he had to skate with the Oil Kings. But my, oh my, man, he was just out to lunch in this one. So it's not good, Tom. 13-6 in 2 games. 2 of the players that were at the Four Nations got back early. No excuses. McDavid, I don't know. He
four games in, 5 days for him?
Yeah, sure. He's probably tired.
6 days.
I said, don't play on Saturday. Gager and I said, why would he? And interesting, though. But, yeah, no one can really, there was a one turnover Tommy Henrique did, and we both started laughing. That's how bad it was.
Offensive zone. He's got the puck for a couple of seconds, hangs on to it, fires a pass right to the Caps defender. And we're not back the other way.
Yeah, we're not laughing. We're just like...
They were terrible this weekend, Hernan.
Terrible.
It's okay to say that. Top to bottom crap.
No, they were.
Good teams have times like this. So I'll just, before anybody goes, they're never going to win anything. This is awful. It's over. They blew first place. No, there's lots of hockey left.
Yeah, and listen, this is not good. It's their first 3-game losing streak since October.
Correct.
And the concerning part is the goaltending. The concerning part is the defensive play.
How about the just general disinterest?
Listen, I thought Nurse, Emerson, and Klingberg struggled mightily defensively today. I thought Bouchard was better than he was yesterday. But just go back and Dusty...
Hard to be any worse than he was yesterday.
No, exactly. Dusty texted us and he said, guys, watch the 6th goal. And I was telling you while we were watching the replay, watch Evan Bouchard in the defensive zone. And I know it's 5-2 at the time, but just watch him. There is no awareness. There's no willing to engage with anyone. And this is the concerning part, Tom, is that they're terrible defensively. Terrible. Your top pairings, Dash, too.
Why are you trying to sugarcoat the goaltending right now?
I'm not. The goaltending was bad. Lateral movement. We're going to talk with Belzy about it. I'm kidding. But, I mean, both goaltenders in these two games didn't get a lot of help. No, they didn't make any saves either.
Everybody sucked top to bottom.
And then you pull the goalie. I don't know why at 6'3". And you have Emberson on the point. Hey. Nothing against the kid. He's been playing extremely well as of late. But is that another message being sent to Bouchard? Is it, hey, we're down 6-3, let's pull the goalie and see what we got? Some of these decisions by Knoblauch, he's got to eat some of this too, man. The lines he had today, we said it on pregame, and some people took some shots. Well, Podkolzin in this, Kapanen in that. -3 for all three of those guys. -3.
You guys in the media are all a bunch of idiots. That's what I saw all day today.
And you know what? At the end of the day, Tom, like you said it, there's no sugarcoating this. They've been awful in these two games. And it's not getting any easier, man.
No, they got smacked. And they're going to get smacked again if they play like that in Tampa. They're going to get smacked again if they play like that in Miami or Sunrise on Thursday. And then if they go in and they play Carolina like that, they're going to get smacked even harder. A couple of butt whoopings at the hands of the Flyers. Oh, my God. I can't believe I have to say that. And the Washington Capitals. At least that one. You could go, yeah, Caps are the best team in the league right now. So text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. Our game analyst, Shawn Belle, standing by for the breakdown. Before we get to Belzy, I'll go to the scoring summary. Hernan kind of hinted at it.
Get comfortable.
The Oilers started the game well. They scored at 1:42. Leon Draisaitl's 42nd goal of the year on a really nice play by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who took a pass from Connor McDavid. Give McDavid 50 assists. Nugent-Hopkins 21 assists. Draisaitl 42 goals. Power play clicks to get the Oilers going down the right path to start the game, but they would take every wrong turn the rest of the way. They faded away in that first period, and then they just didn't show up in the second. And by the time they got out there on the ice for the third, it didn't matter, because in the second period, or before the end of the first period, I should say, Tom Wilson would tie it at 17-15, his 26th of the year. He's having a very strong offensive season. Dubois and Roy the assists. And then at 19:36, this was for me where the game ended. This is the turning point of the game. Jacob Chychrun on the power play, his 17th of the year. He's having a very good offensive season, from Tom Wilson and Dylan Strome. When a puck goes in from 57 feet out, doesn't touch anybody, and it's a soft wrister from the point, and it goes under your goalie, that is deflating. I respect Louis and Jack the most, and guys, keep in mind that is the regional broadcast, so they're being nice, and these guys are two of the best in the league. But when they said it was the Kapanen save and then the 4-1 goal, that was not the turning point of the game. The turning point of the game was when Jacob Chychrun, a soft wrister from the point in the last minute of the first period, puts it by Calvin Pickard. That's when you knew it was over. That's when you knew it was over. So that will be your Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. If you have a nagging pain you'd like to go and get taken care of, book your consultation today at www.advantagesportsmed.ca. The Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game at 19:36. Jacob Chychrun floats one in from the point. Because, Hernan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Last minute of the period, you can't get a penalty kill, and your goalie lets in a stinker like that.
Yeah.
Triple whammy. And you think Washington, that pumped 8 on Pittsburgh the day before, is going to have a letdown in the second period, even though they started the second period on the PK?
Yeah.
You think they're going to have a letdown? They're hungry for more. They scored 5 more after that. Ovechkin at 8:53, his first of 3 on the night, making it 3-1. It was over by then. It was over. The Oilers had a terrible second period again. this afternoon. They had an absolute dog, you-know-what, second period yesterday in Philadelphia, allowed 4. And they go, and I guarantee you the conversation in the locker room was, guys, let's have a better second period than we had in Philly yesterday. Everyone said, okay, yeah, let's go. Here we go.
And they did not.
They get 2 power plays. Do nothing with the power plays. Ovechkin goes and scored. You know they were listless in the second. At 18:39, Ovechkin makes it 4-1. Second of the day, 28th of the year on the power play from Chychrun. PK, awful again. Connor McMichael, another goal in the last minute of a period. Today, at 19:45, Connor McMichael, his 20th from Karlsson and Protas, 5-1. The Oilers didn't do anything in the third period. They got a couple of gifts, and Nugent Hopkins scores his 16th at 6:35. Nice goal by Nugent Hopkins. Arvidsson and Hyman the assist. Dylan Strome at 10:38. I mean, if you thought that one goal, the McMichael one, was like a dazzling display of passing and the Oilers just piss poor in their own zone, sure. But Dylan Strome, this goal, shot from the side by Protas. Pickard kicks it out right into the middle. Nobody around Dylan Strome. Little juke, little drive, tucks it home. 18th of the year. Karlsson, the secondary, says 6-2 Washington. Jeff Skinner, individual effort, unassisted, his 11th of the year. Tucks it by Charlie Lindgren and make it 6-3 at 15:05. And then, yeah, like Hernan mentioned, at 17:22, with the goalie pulled for some reason. Alex Ovechkin, Johnny on the spot with the blown-up Emberson stick off a one-timer. He shoots at 150 feet down the ice. Third of the night, 29th of the season. He's 13 behind Wayne Gretzky, or 12 behind Gretzky, 13 behind the all-time goals record. Shots on goal today, 34-25 Washington. They win the face-off battle, 55.1% to 44.9%. Power play, 100% for the Caps. That means the Oilers' PK, 0%. The PK stinks this year.
Yeah.
It had a nice run about 15, 20 games ago. It sucks now. It fell from 23rd to 26th yesterday to today. Like, if it's 25th by the end of the year, yikes. Power play 1 for 3. That's good. Hits 16 for the Oilers, 15 for the Caps. Doesn't matter. Block shots 14 for the Oilers, 9 for the Caps. Giveaways 15 for Washington, 10 for Edmonton. Takeaways 9 for the Oilers, 4 for Washington. 7-3 is your final. The Oilers, an absolutely abysmal weekend. 13-6, they lose on aggregate. 7-3 today, whatever.
There's just no more excuses.
You can't play like that. Let's welcome in our game analyst, Shawn Belle, for the breakdown. The breakdown brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox tracks and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados, and they won't be beat. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. Bellsy, I hope your team did a hell of a lot better than the Oilers today. Give us some good news.
Well, we lost. We lost 6-5. They scored 3 goals in the third period for us to lose. So it was tough. And then watching the other game, that was even more tough. And I don't even know what to say, guys. Like, the effort was just, it was not there clearly. And it sucks because you piss away basically 4 points.
Yeah, you do. It's and that's why that game against Philly, because like on paper, Bellsy, that's the easiest game you're gonna have on this road trip. You need to go in there. Yeah, and I'm not using Four Nations as an excuse. Every team had players. Not every team. I think there was 2 or 3 teams that didn't have any players. But everybody's in the same boat here, Bellsy. Like, this is not acceptable for a team that's competing for a Stanley Cup, and people are losing their minds. Fired Knob, bringing Olivier Rodrigue. There's just a lot of hot takes right now. Listen, this is a bad stretch, but this team is not. This team's not going to come here and blow it up. Like, they need to figure it out defensively, Bellsy. That's my number one issue with this team right now.
Yeah, defensively, it's just not good. I mean, they're not managing pucks. They're kind of listless when it comes to defending. it was really discouraging because in the pregame show, we sat there and we were like, you need to find your game and find ways to, feel good about yourself as you continue on in this playoff push. But unfortunately, you show up with that level of urgency and tenacity. Like the one goal that I text you guys about, Darnell Nurse was in front trying to play goal. The Caps passed it 3 or 4 times across, back and forth across the ice, and then it was a wide open tap in. Like, what do you want to do? 4 guys basically swung to the corner. Like, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it for a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations.
That was like Belle, I felt like the Caps were toying with him. It was embarrassing for the guys that were on the ice. Like, they made them look silly, man.
Yep, they really did make him look silly. There's no words that you can even say to try to defend what just happened, what the product that they just put on the ice. They should just come out with a report that said everybody was sick. That's the only way that you could probably get through that. But they didn't defend well. The defense was giving up everything. There was no effort. I think they lost every single battle. It was a very tough game to watch. And then the goaltending, you can say whatever you want about it. They needed saves, and they didn't get it. Whether some of them were screens, whether some of them were tap-ins, they needed a save or two. They didn't get it. And here we are. But it all came out today.
They, top to bottom, they stunk. Throw the coaching staff in there as well. That was an absolutely putrid weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. The only place to go is up from here. Pissed away first place in the division for the time being, and we'll see if they can wake up and get their butts in gear, because there was nothing good about this weekend. I would say Matt Savoy in his Oilers debut was good, and that was over 24 hours ago, and it led to a point, which was nice, but outside of that, there's nothing positive about this weekend for the Edmonton Oilers. All right, let's get to some text. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Let's keep tabs on the nasty chat a little bit there while Belzy and Hernan were going back and forth, but it was moving very, very quickly and understandably so. RBM texting in says, we didn't miss a damn thing with the Oilers during the Four Nations. I'm glad that I didn't watch either game. Would have been a complete waste of time. I've stayed away from the let's all panic takes for the most part, but I'm calling a spade a spade. They got older, slower, smaller, and a lot less physical from last year. Ain't happening this year. Sorry, folks. See, RBM, I respect you for taking a break from watching them this weekend. You probably saved yourself some stress for sure. Mm-hmm. The takes on writing the team off because of a 3-game losing streak, the first one since the beginning of the year, and then 2 absolutely disturbingly bad games. I still wouldn't put any stock into that. Now, the older, slower, smaller, and a lot less physical from last year, there is cases to be made for that. Older, yes. Are they smarter? Maybe. Certainly didn't play that way this weekend. Smaller, I saw a lot of stuff today about them being too small to go toe-to-toe with the Caps. The Oilers outplayed Washington, or put up a damn good game against the Caps on, was it January 21st or 25th, whenever the Caps were here in town. It's hard to look like you can match a team physically when you don't even engage. And I'm sorry, guys, but today the Oilers didn't even engage with the Washington Capitals, sheer size aside.
Yeah, just again, I feel bad going to this guy, but watch Bouchard, man. He has no intentions of getting into any battling with anyone. He's out there for a stroll in the defensive zone. Now, when he's in the offensive zone, he gets a jolt. He does. But just watch him in the defensive zone. There's just like, I'm good. I'll just stay out here.
Careful, Hernan. Right now, all the analytics say he's one of the best defensemen out there.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Very good, Shawn. Very good.
There was a lot of guys that,
they twist yourself into a pretzel to defend him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stop and start. There's got to be intensity. There needs to be structure in the D zone. Unfortunately, today you didn't see any of that, and it's hard because you want to try to give them like a true evaluation, with Klingberg there, and to give yourself the best opportunity. But like when you come out and you have games like that, like what are you supposed to do? There's no way you can even remotely be like, okay, well, I think my team's here, my defense is here. Like that's not even possible because they were so bad.
They stunk. Absolutely stunk. All right, let's go to Mark in Arizona. It says, hey, Tommy and the boys, Oilers defensively, total mess. Too many sloppy plays, no grit or intensity. Goaltending a mess also. Man, hard to watch that poop show. That's from Mark in AZ. Sums it up very fair. Let's go to this one from Matt Hyman, who still wants to trade Logan Stanley to the Oilers. Matt Hyman, you got to stop with that joke.
Stop, man.
We don't read it for a reason. But good to hear from you. Coach Mike says, what a weekend. Woof. Hard to explain. Also, Stoff was sour about the goalie pull. Coach Mike. Like in the
broadcast?
On the broadcast? Like that they pulled it. It didn't make sense. Like, Belsey, put on your coaching cap. Why would you pull Calvin Pickard with like 3 minutes left and your team's done absolutely diddly squat to show that you're actually in it? You got a couple of gifts to make it 6-3 and you pull your, like, why? What's the rationale there?
Well, you're trying to give yourself as much runway possible to potentially get yourself back in the game with some of the best players in the world. But let's be honest, there was no juice there for them anyway. No. So despite the fact that you decide to do that, it wasn't going to work. But that's why they decided to pull him, because they wanted to give themselves 3 minutes to see if they can score 3 goals and maybe, get a little bit of urgency. But to me, it's like this game's done. If it was 5-3, different story. But it was 6-3. You don't need to do it.
Yeah, unnecessary. So, okay, I understand. I'm kind of with Stoff on that one. I looked at Hernan when we were watching. I'm like, why the hell would you pull the goalie right now?
Yeah.
They have no jam. They're going to get scored on. Sure enough, broken stick. You can't fault Emberson for breaking his stick.
No.
A stick's going to go when a stick's ready to go. But timing was awful, goes to the wrong guy. He gets the hat trick and makes it a special afternoon in Washington. Let's go to Library. Pat texts in and says, guys, I couldn't watch the start today. By the time I checked on the score, it was already 5-2, so I decided I wasn't watching the end. Why pull the goalie went down there? They thought they'd actually score 3? Ugh. Anyway, I'm listening to you guys to get the scoop. Library Pat, yeah. Outside of like the first 5 minutes, Library Pat, it was all Washington. That's how I would sum it up. This one from ZB says, Jackson ruined this team over the course of a month. Utterly useless management. Zeke, how? How did he ruin this team over the course of a month? What did they do to switch it up outside of bringing John Klingberg?
Like, that's what I mean. Like, I get the frustration. I'm frustrated. And they've been playing like straight, these last 3 games, the game before 4 Nation and these 2. But we got to pump the brakes here that this team is going to all of a sudden fall out of a playoff spot and, like, relax. Like, the deadline's under 2 weeks away. I'm sure they're going to bring in some pieces. I'm sure these guys are going to get their head out of eventually and start playing like they did in most of November, December, and into January. Like, I get the frustration. Be frustrated. Be angry. Defensive play's terrible. Goaltending's bad. PK's falling again. 5-on-5, the lines are a mess because Knoblauch can't stick to a certain lineup. I get all that, but let's pump the brakes on that. This team needs to be blown up, and the GM did such a bad job. Like, they're top 5 team in the league for a reason. They're not there by fluke.
I'd like to read this one from KCF. I'm smirking because it's one of his all-time worst takes, and he's had a ton of them over the years.
Oh, boy.
I'll preface his bad take with his earlier text. Get rid of Henrique, get rid of Bouchard, get rid of Klingberg, get rid of Jan Mark, spelt with a dash. Get rid of Jeff Skinner. Get the Utah goalie somehow. Doesn't even know his name. Need an average level playoff goalie. Oilers lose next 3. KCF follows up with, hey, clown, You've never played goalie. The third goal was a perfect screen and release timing. Goalie couldn't see puck. Sick of you uneducated mouthpieces. KCF. KCF, you stooped to a new low. And you can call us whatever you want. Me, I don't care. But that was an absolutely putrid goal. Putrid goal. And if you're going to defend it, then your takes are like awful. Just awful.
Edmonton meat at its finest. Both of you guys just meat.
But he played, so he knows.
Yeah, like.
Oh, he coaches goalie too for Hockey Alberta. Thank you, KCF.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So
thanks, pal. Good take.
That's why there's no goalies coming out of Alberta. Anyway, so one of the things that I look at, and to his first point with some of the players, like you're not blowing this up. Like at the end of the day, this is a top 5 team in the NHL. So let's start there. Do you need pieces to help you get over the hump? Yes. Do you need better defense or a guy that can come in and help solidify the D-core? Yes. But the answer is not to blow up everything. And the biggest comment is like a goaltending. What are you going to get? But the reality is what are you going to get? You're going to go out and get Gibson? Like, is he that much better? So
No.
you're making a lateral move.
Get the goalie expert recommendation, because the goalie expert who can't even name the goalie out of Utah, that's who you have to go get. So
Well,
get that in there.
like you can't, because you're upset at the way that the goaltenders play, you can't now come up with takes to try to get lateral moves. Lateral moves don't help you get better, even if you're going to give up, a second-round pick so that you get them to eat salary. That's not a smart decision if you're a GM. You have Stuart Skinner. He is a middle-of-the-pack goaltender. Say what you want. That's exactly what he is. You now have to add to your team. You got to go find a defenseman. You got to add somebody that's got a little bit of juice in the lineup that can help these guys. But outside of that, do you really want to blow up a top 5 team because we're pissed off because they didn't show up today? No. So I get it. Like Hernan, you mentioned, be upset, be frustrated, but keep a level head.
Yeah,
because this is a top 5 team.
In Belle, this team is far from perfect. We all know that. For me, they still need a top 4 defenseman. And I've seen enough from Klimberg. I think he's good. He's a good passer. But I think you need more. Goaltending, would you want to... I think all of us would be like, if you can get an upgrade, sure. But it's not realistic. It's not. These guys are not going to give up on Stuart Skinner right now. And that's just the reality of the situation, whether you like it or not. And sure, I'd like a top 5 goalie. I'd love a Hellebuck or a Vasilevsky. Of course. But we got to deal with what's realistic here. Do they need more speed? 100%. 100%. Now, can they get all that at the deadline? Who knows? Because they don't have a lot of money. And the Evander Kane stuff's up in the air. And until there's clarification on that, I don't know what they can do without pieces moving out as well. So, listen, Matt Savoy, I don't think he's done anything to hurt his chances to stay up here. But I don't know if he will, right? Maybe they just wanted to get a quick look at him. But I think he's just been fine. He's got good speed. He's tenacious. He's got good offense. But that's what I mean. Like, we got to pump the brakes a bit on let's get crazy here and blow this team apart. Like, we get it. And listen, are all the goals on Skinner and Pickard, guys? No. But you can have Gibson. You can have any goalie. The way the Oilers played defensively these last 2 games, guess what? They're still losing these games. I don't care who's in net. And that's not giving the goalies the night off. No, they have to be better. But as bad as the Oilers were today, guys, holy smoke. There's not one goalie that was saving them tonight.
Nope. Let's go to this one from Kamloops J. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 7-3 to the Washington Capitals. Absolutely brutal weekend for the Oilers. They're back in action Tuesday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kamloops J texting in. It's for you, Bellsy. Kamloops J says, hey, Shawn, as a coach, can you explain why the lines would have been so shuffled up to start this game like they were today against the top team in the league? It makes no sense to me. Keep in mind, Kapanen, and Podkolzin were Connor McDavid's wingers today?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe they're trying to find a little bit of a spark somewhere else. Obviously, Savoy coming in, playing on Draisaitl's wing, trying to sort out maybe some kind of chemistry. When I saw the lines, I didn't love them. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but maybe that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to, because Washington's such a good team and they're such a deep team, maybe they're just trying to spread out the love a little bit more to create a scenario where they can roll 3 lines deep and not have a ton of drop off. That would be my only comment to it. Outside of that, like I said, I didn't love it because I think Connor needs to play with guys like a Mitch Marner.
Stop. Yeah, but I think you make a good point there. If you're trying to rationalize why we saw such a shuffle, Nugent Hopkins was the linchpin there, moving him from the wing on the top line to playing center to give you that balance and that depth, if you will. Created some chaos on the wings to the point where Podkolzin and Kapanen were your wingers for Connor McDavid.
It's just.
It didn't work. I thought they'd get away from it by the second period. They actually did.
They did.
But even the big dogs didn't have a lot of jam today.
But do you, I don't know, for me, it's weird that a guy comes from the press box to the top line. I've always found that weird. Do you know what I mean? You're in the press box for a reason. No, Kappa didn't do anything to get him there. They wanted to get Savoy in. I understand that, but. And then you come there and you're put with the best player on the planet. I've always found that weird when guys, because Kapanen's not at least for me, he's not a top 6 guy at this point in his career, guy.
Bells, you want to jump on that? Or do you want to move on?
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you on that. And once again, I just think they're trying to spread out the lines because Washington has such a deep lineup that they're trying to find a balance so that not one line is kind of getting caved in. That's my only assumption, and I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I do agree. You can't necessarily go from the press box to the first line. Connor needs somebody to play with. As much as you've been trying to find somebody to play with Draisaitl, you need the same thing for Connor because those are the best players on your team. You got to give them guys to play with. And can Connor create? Yes. Can he drive a line by himself? Yes. Can he help make players better? 100%. But at the end of the day, you don't want to see him have to play with guys that, aren't going to really help him do much or do anything offensively.
What were they combined? Dash what? I know plus minus is not the be all end all, but Hernan, you had it earlier.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys were -3 tonight.
-9. Not bad. Let's go to Dirty Curdy before we go inside the Oilers locker room. It is the breakdown brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet, Gazzola, Belle, and Salas with you. Dirty Curdy saying, best team in the East versus a team who looks lost. At this point, 2 to 3 points on this road trip will be surprising. This team resembles the 0-3 team at the start of the year. Baby poop soft defense with perimeter offense. Knoblauch, blender backfires, leave Nugent Hopkins, Jeff Skinner, Arvidsson, Bouchard, and Schwartz at the airport. Now, saying all this, the history of this core shows they need rock bottom to actually accomplish anything, not a recipe for winning cups. That's from Dirty Curdy. And then West End Rob chiming in with, boys, is Arvidsson someone who teams may have interest in taking back in a deal? I think he has been just as bad of a fit as Jeff Skinner. I don't think that's a bad take.
No, he was bad.
He hasn't been
bad
good.
Penalty today, Tom. No reason. He goes in full cross check once Pickard covered
Dylan
it up.
Strome, was it not?
Yeah, on Dylan Strome, and that led to a goal. And Arvidsson hasn't been good. And
no,
I think we were all at least I was giving him the benefit of the doubt early on because he was skating well. He was getting in there. It's just the puck wasn't going his way. But now, I just think I think he gets a little more slack from the a little more string, I guess, from the coach guys. Yeah, than Jeff Skinner does. Jeff Skinner, he had a breakaway today. He did end up, scoring as well. So I don't see these guys being moved at the deadline, Tommy. I can't see Skinner. Skinner's got a no move, so you're not moving him unless he agrees to it. And
which is still baffling that they gave him that, but whatever.
And then Arvidsson, I still think there's something there. I still think his best will come in the playoffs. So I'm not ready to move on from him either. But I get the frustration with him. I think both guys haven't lived up to the July 1st hype that we all felt when they were signed.
Yeah, that's a fair point. All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. They lose 7-3. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Balsy. Go ahead.
Can I just get into a point? Because obviously there's some stuff still going on in the chat talking about the team and the goaltending and this and that. And one of the comments was like, well, Colorado got rid of 2 of their goaltenders so that they could bring in 2 goaltenders. Why can't the Oilers do that? Okay, so let's just, we can all agree that the Oilers needed a top 4 D-man, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we can all probably agree that the Oilers need a depth forward that has some ruggedness to him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That maybe has a little bit of finishing as well.
Sure.
And then third on the wish list is bringing in a goaltender, probably, yes?
From a fan standpoint, yeah.
Okay, so then to get a top 4 defenseman in the National Hockey League, what would that take?
An asset.
An asset or maybe 3. So just scrolling through this, they don't have a first rounder this year. They've got a second and a third. They don't have a 4th. They don't have a 5th. They have a 2026 first rounder, but how many people are jumping over backwards for that? So hypothetically speaking, you're going to go out and you're going to spend a first rounder in 2026, potentially a second rounder in 2025, and a top prospect. Oh yeah, by the way, that top prospect is already sitting in Edmonton, most likely not going anywhere. So that's what it's going to take to try to get a top 4 D-man. And then you're going to go out and try to get a depth forward. Okay, so now I'm trying to spend money, make money, keep money, retain money. You still need a draft pick or a prospect for that. And then you go down to your third, and now you're saying, okay, well, we need a goaltender. With what? You want to give up your 2027 first-round pick? That's not smart GMing. So once again, you're in a situation where I'm not telling you that the roster's perfect. Hernan, you said the roster's not perfect, but gotta think with our brains here. Goaltending is the least of their concerns right now. It is primarily defense. Number 1, stop bleeding chances left, right, and center, and then maybe your goaltender might actually have a chance.
And not just that, and listen, yeah, Mackenzie Blackwood, sure, should the Oilers made a call? Maybe they did. And maybe Colorado opted to trade with San Jose, or San Jose the other way around, right? We don't know that. And just because one team does it doesn't mean the Oilers are going to go acquire 2 goalies and ship theirs. And we got to keep in mind, guys, that sure, Skinner needs to be better this year. His save percentage is not good enough. He's in the last 2 games he's played, he's been awful. That's all fair. But we got to remember, guys, that, and whether you want to give him credit or not, this team was 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup with Stuart Skinner as your goalie. He's 26 years old. He cost you $2.6 million. This is a guy that's shown that he can be a goalie that can take you all the way. Okay? And I know everybody's down on him now, and that's fine, and it's fair. But guys, this is not a goalie that struggled in his first 3 years, and we're like, I don't know if he's the guy. We've seen him be the guy. And everybody's like, well, but they lost 2-1. Okay, the Oilers scored 1 goal. Not every loss is on the goaltending here. So we got to keep in mind that this guy's young, he's cheap, and the Oilers management, whether you like it or not, they're not going to give up on him for a rental.
No, they're not. And then the other piece of that puzzle is that as a GM, you've got to tiptoe this line of being today and tomorrow. So if you start giving every single first rounder away and every single draft pick away, well, your cupboards are already empty because you've been on this window of trying to be in the Stanley Cup contender. So you want to be smart. You want to be calculated with what you're trying to do. Your goaltender makes $2.6 million, which allows you to spend that money in other areas. So go shore up your defenseman if that's what you need to do so that you're not bleeding chances. Go find another depth guy that can bring some sandpaper and make people earn it. That's how you're going to become a better team, and that's how you're going to put yourself in a position to win.
Well, some people are saying, Hernan, stop bringing up last year. Well, that's all we can go on. So Bouchard's having a bad year. Nuge is having a bad year. Enrique, should we get rid of them all? They've all shown that they can play at a higher level. They've all shown they can go to the Cup final and be playoff performers. So we just forget all that. And we base it all on 2 games this year so far.
Alberta goaltending says yes.
Like, come on, man. Like, yes, Stuart Skinner needs to be better. Yes, is there better options out there? Sure. Stan Boehm, go try to make a deal then. But all I'm saying is Stuart Skinner at least has shown that he can play top-notch hockey. He knows what it takes to go through 4 grueling rounds, get pulled, sit out 2 games. That's valuable experience, guys.
You guys are crazy. How dare you guys try to use logic, reason to make an argument for why this team still has it within itself to become a Stanley Cup winner.
And Tom, they're not getting a goalie.
No, they're not getting a goalie.
How
dare you guys
you got the inside
not
scoop.
want to trade everybody on this roster? How dare you guys not want to fire the goalie off into the sun, whether it's Pickard or Skinner? How dare you guys not call out management? That's all I want to say. How dare you guys not respect expected goals or saves above average per game? How dare you two, just you two specifically.
And this is the thing, guys. Like, if the Oilers lose in the playoffs, there's context into that, right? It's not going to be just the goaltending. It's going to be multiple things if the Oilers are out in the first or second round, guys. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to stop focusing on just one part of their game and blaming that for everything. Like today,
I'd be more concerned about the give a you-know-what meter barely getting past 10% this weekend.
I'm more concerned Bouchard than I am the goaltending. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care what does analytics say. Watch him play. Press you know how you can record guys now on the TV and you can rewind it? Watch Evan Bouchard's effort in the defensive zone on a consistent basis. That's concerning. I'm done.
All right, let's go inside the Oilers locker room. They get their asses kicked 7-3. We're all over the place on this one. It's a spicy afternoon edition of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Let's hear from Connor McDavid.
Recalibrate as a group here. What are the primary areas that you guys need to kind of clean up?
Well, everything. Just 2 that haven't been very good.
You guys have had adverse situations in the past. What are some of the past experiences that you guys can lean on to kind of get through this?
Just getting back to work, Sometimes this happens after breaks. Some teams come up flying, some teams come up flat. We've obviously done the latter, so got to get back to it here.
You gave a lot of chances away against Philly. You toss pucks away. Didn't see that as much tonight. Seemed like Washington was... they beat you fair and square. Is there much of a difference in the 2 games? Can you lump them together, or are they 2 separate incidents?
A good question. I would say, obviously 2 different styles of game. I thought we had the puck more against Philly, and we, as you said, gave them offense. I thought tonight we struggled all around. They played really well. We struggled all around. Picks did a great job just keeping him at what we kept him at, or what he kept him at. So not very good, obviously.
They're a big, strong team, and they control the game. Is there something to be read into that? Does your team have to do something, play a certain way when you're playing a big team like that?
They come at you in waves, wave after wave. They got 4 lines, 60 men, and they just roll them. They're an impressive group. Obviously, they're having a great year. So, is there a way to play against that? Push back out of bat. I don't know. It was just not good.
All right, there's Connor McDavid. All around bad. Top to bottom, they stunk. I don't know how much more he could sum it up, but the spark wasn't there. Obviously, he riding the high of Four Nations face-off win, scoring a big goal, and then coming back and trying to meet up with the Oilers and playing 2 games in 2 days. No bueno for McDavid and the Oilers. Couple of things to get to. In the nasty chat, I saw, it's going crazy. Stealth Legends says, I won't deny the Oilers' defense has been bad, yes, but it is the defense fault when the goalie gives up a soft goal. No, Stealth Legends, it's not. And the goalies aren't getting let off the hook all weekend because they were bad too.
Yeah.
But like I said, honestly, as a whole, this weekend, at what point did you say to yourself during a game, yesterday or today, man, the Oilers are hustling their asses off. Look at them working hard. Look at them look at them winning battles. I don't think at any point in the 6 periods that the Edmonton Oilers played this weekend, you could say that without questioning yourself. If you made the statement at any point saying the Oilers are on, they're hustling, they're pumping, the feet are moving, they're sharp. If you said that at any point this weekend, you're just lying. They were bad all weekend. Start to finish.
Yeah, and I just want to. People are chirping that I'm going hard on Bouchard, not Skinner. No. I don't think I've said once trade Bouchard. I said.
Someone asked if I would be open to it. I said yes. Yesterday.
Well, yeah, you have to consider it.
Yeah,
because I'm still not decided on Bouchard either. Because he was fantastic last year, especially in the playoffs. He was an absolute stud. This year he's fallen off. So, are you ready to give up because he's having a bad year? No, at least I'm not. But I'm calling it how it is. He's been bad this year. He has. Skinner's been bad for portions of it too. There's not Bouchard against Skinner and you're picking on this guy. No, it is what it is. Bouchard has not been good enough. Plain and simple. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying get rid of him. He's probably going to get a hell of a contract here in Edmonton, guys. So we got to, and they're paying him on what he did last year, not this year. And now if he goes into the playoffs, boys, and has another outstanding playoffs, all's forgotten, right? We talked about it on the pregame show, Tom. People are going to love Bouchard if he's great in the playoffs, and they go all the way. So don't get it twisted. This is not all Bouchard's fault, not Stuart Skinner. Both guys need to be better. But Bouchard is a guy that is, I think because we saw what he did last year, boys, that we're kind of blown away that he hasn't even been close to that level this year. It's February 23rd, and he has yet to score a power play goal.
Bellsy, you want to add anything? I have one more thing, but go ahead first.
You can take that comment and conversation so many ways. The reality is like Hernan mentioned, Bouchard was unbelievable last year. And we're sitting here, halfway through the season, over halfway through the season. He doesn't have a power play goal. He played his way off the Team Canada, arguably. He's not having a good year. It's okay to say that. It's okay to sit here and tell you that Stuart Skinner needs to be better. It's okay. But nobody is trying to run people out of town. This isn't the Edmonton Meat Coalition, guys. So relax. Go have a beer. I don't know, cut the edge off. And let's get ready for the next game. Because the sky's not falling. This is still a top 5 hockey team with guys that you want to be better. It's all good. Relax. You know what? A beer might not be good enough for you. Go have something hard. Jeez.
I like it. All right. Okay, Belle, so you going to stick around for Knoblauch and then get some thoughts going into Tuesday? You're cool with that?
Yeah.
You might. Somebody get Bellsy a stiff drink immediately. My goodness.
I just want to put my head through a wall because it's just ridiculous. Come on.
Okay, let's go inside the Oilers locker room one more time. Let's hear from head coach Kris Knoblauch.
The opening 15 minutes, what do you think was lacking in the last 45?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent start. Good pace, both teams skating well, chances both ends. Goaltenders made some really big saves. And then they continued that pace we dropped. And, they were able to just make a lot more plays. They were out skating us. And we looked like the slow team tonight.
What's it going to take to recalibrate as a group?
Yeah, just everyone needs to dig in and be a little bit better. I can't think of anybody that I'm saying, I really like his game. He's playing outstanding, and I think everyone in that room can be a little bit better, some more than others, but I think collectively we can step it up, and once we do that, there's not flip a switch, there's nothing that we can do immediately. Just everybody's just got to get a little bit better, and whether it's on our back check, our breakouts, our passing, our penalty kill, everything can be a little bit better.
The game in Philly, I think you played a poor game. You gave a bunch of bucks away. You weren't yourselves. Well, tonight you started well, but you kind of got pushed out of that game by a really good team. Is it more concerning to lose a game this way than it was that way?
One, we're playing a team that wasn't in the playoffs last night or yesterday. Tonight we're playing the best team in the league. They've got the West winning percentage, and that's not a coincidence. They're running pretty well right now. Everything about their team, whether it's special teams, the 5-on-5, their defense, everything, and we don't play well, we make some mistakes, they capitalize on it. If we have a late back check or a bad turnover, that team's going to capitalize on it. So, like I said, I just think we have a lot of areas to improve.
This is a team that had poor starts last year and this year. Last year you didn't have any adversity until you got to the playoffs, and you made it through all that adversity. Is it fair to say that maybe some adversity has arrived a little earlier this year for you guys?
Well, I would say there was quite a bit of adversity last year before the playoffs. The position we were in November to climb in there, I'd say that's about as much adversity as possible. But I think a lot of that is how well we handle adversity also makes you a little more complacent and less, there's not as much urgency to turn things around because there's so much confidence on it'll be okay. So it's a kind of a fine line on being confident, but also a little bit complacent and overconfident. So I think there's a lot of confidence in the team, and right now we got to show a little more urgency to turn the switch.
Before the game, you talked about puck management. Was that sort of did you feel like that was an issue today, or was it something else that you saw that maybe caused what it was, or maybe the other team, the way they've been playing?
I definitely think the puck management was much better than it was against Philadelphia. There were times that we did turn it over the puck, and I know one late in the period that led to a goal, and there were issues. There were times. For me, I thought we just looked slow to defend, slow to get up ice on the attack. I think a lot of it had just not finding our legs, and that makes it difficult to create offense if you're not moving, and gives them a lot more time and space to make plays. And I felt that they were able to make a lot of plays.
All right, that was Oilers head coach Kris Knoblauch. Puck management a bit better to start the game, sure. And talked about a little bit of overconfidence and this and that. And then basically said it without saying it. Get your heads out of your proverbial you-know-whats after getting outscored 13-6 this weekend. 7-3 was the final. Today, at the hands of the best team in the NHL right now, the Washington Capitals. You can text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. Lots to get to. Before we get Belzy's final thoughts on this game and a look ahead to Tuesday against Tampa, Corey B. screen grabbed the chat summary from the nasty chat. Auto-generated experiment. Quality may vary. That is the caveat. Here's the chat summary. Viewers are criticizing the Edmonton Oilers goaltender Stuart Skinner and the team's overall defensive performance. They are speculating about potential roster moves such as trading players or firing the coach. Wow. I'm not even surprised. Bellzy?
Attaboy, Corey B. I love that.
Good timing, yes. Bellzy, okay, wrap up this mess of a game, mess of a weekend, and then if you're the Oilers, you get a day. You're going to fly to Tampa, probably practice tomorrow, try to regroup against the Lightning on Tuesday.
Yeah, obviously not what they expected, not what they wanted. Probably frustration in the locker room, but that game is probably done, and they're moving on to the next, because that's what you got to do in sports, particular professional sports. Now they got to look forward to a team that in Tampa that is a high-octane team, and they're hard to play against as well. It's not going to be an easy road trip, so they got to get it figured out, and they got to go into Tampa ready to go from the drop of the puck, because this can turn into a really bad road trip in a hurry if they have another lackluster game.
Well, it's off to an absolutely terrible start. Edmonton with a 3-game losing streak. The Oilers have started this road trip 0-2, not showing a ton of gusto for sure. By the way, like you said, high-octane Lightning, 6-3-1 in the last 10. They've won 4 straight, and they welcome in the Seattle Kraken this evening. Belle, great work, my friend. Unfortunately, the team you cover had a bad afternoon, and then the team that you helped build, and you're their GM, had a tough go. But your team that you coach is still going, right?
Yeah, it's bumping in here right now, so I can barely hear anything, but it was a tough day. Oilers lost, my 14's lost. Here we are. The nasty chat is nasty. I love all of you.
I have a goalie coach who's coaching with Hockey Alberta right now that might be available for you.
You can keep them.
Oh, okay, thanks. Belle, good stuff.
I love
buddy.
everybody. Good night.
See you later. There you go. Shawn Belle, our game analyst with the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Keep those texts coming in. I've got a lot to get to. We have some time left in the show. Let's go now to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find the right home or make the move from your current home. He is community-driven and does understand what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Hernan, Salas, take it away.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Alex the Great 8, Ovechkin, the Hattie. Now he's 13 away
from all-time
with
record.
25 games to go. He had 9 shots on net. He was a +3, and the two best options he had, he didn't score. He could have had 5 today, but he's an absolute machine, man. Love seeing it. So the Damon Bunting player of the game for the agency, going to the other side again. And it's going to Ovechkin, who's getting closer and closer to Wayne Gretzky's goal total. So what a game! I mean, they gave the hat trick to him there with the goalie pull, but he was awesome. He was awesome.
Yes, he was. Still doing it at 39 years of age. All right, I laughed when I saw this one. Randy usually gets us fired up.
Yeah,
he's very good at it. Randy texted this in and said, "I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised it hasn't been a comment that I've texted in that has inspired this level of frustration from the postgame show, boys. Ha, Randy." And I said, "Randy, there have been some doozies from others today. Man, oh man." And he replied with, "Trust me, when even I, as a former Oilers fan, flinch at some of the venomous takes and wild assumptions based on a couple of losses, that's got to be a correlation as to why you guys aren't having it today. Good luck. Keep standing up for logic and the long-term process, not just a couple of unfortunate results." And Randy and I have gone toe-to-toe like for 4 or 5 years. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, it's, man, Tommy, imagine it doesn't go well on Tuesday. I might take
Well, bring it. I mean, these are the fun shows. At the end of the day, we get to talk about a hockey team, and that's awesome. We don't always agree with everyone. We don't always agree with everybody in this room, at this station. But that's the beauty of this. And yeah, it's frustrating when the team loses the way it did today, the way it did this weekend. But it doesn't mean we can't have fun on this show. As fired up as we get.
Yeah, and everybody's got their takes.
Absolutely.
And I get it. It's part of the game, and there's a reason why this fan base is so passionate and great. Everybody's got a different take on what needs to happen, or you have the very optimistic fans, you have the very pessimistic fans, you have somewhere in between where it's a mishmash of just everything. Mm-hmm. But no, listen, you shouldn't be happy with this weekend. And you saw Connor McDavid annoyed there, Kris Knoblauch not happy. He always speaks the same. You're never going to see him angry.
Yeah.
So it's when you've done this for long enough, post games from coaches don't really get you anything. Like unless you got Torts or one of those guys that are a little bit more fiery. But the Oilers coach is super laid back. He's not happy.
You could tell when he's mad about something with the way he chooses his words. I think, we listened to him enough pre and post game and on off days, talking to him, getting to know his personality a bit, that you understand. And he said it yesterday. The puck management was atrocious. Well, that's him saying the puck management, how they handled it yesterday, was absolute dog expletive, but he just doesn't use those words.
No. So
and he says it in a calm tone.
I have a fun question.
Okay. What do you got?
And I want our nasties to chime in, okay? This is for everybody. Who gets to start in net on Tuesday?
Didn't you ask that like on the pregame show?
I said if Pickard played well.
Right.
He didn't play well.
So it's back to Stu.
You're going back with Stu?
Sure. Like, roll the dice at this point. Like, both guys didn't have good games this weekend. Both of them made some good saves. Don't get me wrong. They didn't get any help at all from the guys in front of them. The team, the skaters, were bad both games. Maybe you had a couple of like 5-minute windows early today and a little bit in the first period yesterday where the team was okay. But outside of that, man.
Because you want to, I have a feeling you want to play Stu against Florida because it's Stanley Cup rematch.
That's what I was thinking earlier.
And he can play both.
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Rob from the Grove texting in says, hey guys, did anyone tell the Edmonton Oilers that their break is over? Serious question. Shawnzy says, I would be very concerned about Evan Bouchard at this point. Something is wrong with him. It's not just a slump. Unfortunately, this team is handcuffed in terms of doing anything significant to change that fact outside of trading Evan Bouchard straight up for Seth Jones. Time will tell, but you can't go into the playoffs with this current defensive structure that they have. That's from Shawnzy. Hontorio Mom says, could we trade Bouch for Dobson if we throw in Gretzky? See what you did there, Hontorio Moms. And then adds in Bouchard +++ for Roman.
Oh, and I want to throw this out there, our boy Swain Dog.
Yes.
Connor McDavid, in his last 3 games, has gone -3. And we're doing some digging here. And it seems like that'd be the first time in franchise history a player's been -3 in 3 consecutive games.
To me, that's wild considering how bad the Oilers were in the early to mid 90s after their 2 runs to the conference final.
But to be that, like, to be -3 in 3
Decade
consecutive games, man, holy smokes.
No kidding.
No, that's not, again, you take plus minus with a grain of salt because he could just be on the ice. It has nothing to do with him. He's not at fault for the goal, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. Shout out to Swain, who brings us a stat every we're going to have to start paying him for his stats.
My goodness. Swainer, great stuff from him. He is a stats guru, and he
sure
digs
is.
deep on those. So Brian Swain there with a nice dig. Connor McDavid, 3 straight games, -3. The Oilers 0-3 in those games, not surprisingly. Yes, a couple of weeks in between the last 2 and the loss to Colorado, but they'll look to intone on Tuesday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Gourdfather chiming in says, not blaming goalies today, but saw somewhere that our goalie save percentage are that of Jack Campbell first year, which made me shudder. Yeah, the goalies numbers this year haven't been pretty.
No.
Stu got over 900 before his last 5 starts, I believe.
He was just above, like, I think 905, 906 was the highest.
That might have been as high as he got, yeah.
And then I think Pickard going into today was just above 901. He's probably down now.
Yeah, he was 901.
So, and listen, Tom, I get it. You want, for a Stanley Cup contender, you want that a little bit higher. A little bit higher for sure. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Trade deadline is upon us. Not too far away, Tom.
Less than 2 weeks.
Keep it locked on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll have you covered that day.
Yeah,
from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Tomorrow's morning show is going to be a spicy one.
I have a feeling Dusty's going to break it.
I'll just say this. Our group chat today, it was quiet until about the second period.
Yeah.
And then maybe guys were doing stuff. Maybe they're out with family, TCB around the house, whatever. But in the second period, it started to pop off. And Dusty was a hot tamale.
He sure was.
And Bellsy was a hot tamale. Hernan, a hot tamale. Me, also kind of getting pesky, but not. I was kind of laughing. I was being a little brat, I would say. But
yeah, Dusty is must listen to in this because Tommy, I think he's going to bring up a lot of stuff we're talking about, and he's just going to lose it. So text him all your takes.
Sal, I'm going to get to Sal here in the nasty chat. Says Sal, Fuhr, Moog, Ranford, Cujo, and Stu.
Ooh.
Time will tell, Sal. I know he's being a bit facetious there, but time will tell. You'll remember Ranford wasn't great in the last couple of years. Those teams weren't good either. And then Cujo, Cujo was good for 2.5 seasons.
Cujo was awesome.
Yeah.
Did he have Salo in there?
No, Salo's not in there. Salo's still the team's all-time leader in shutouts.
Man, was he?
Pat Janex, PJ.
PJ!
Says, Dusty might not let Eric talk tomorrow. You know what? Time will tell, but we shall see. Rick will just be doing the updates and say, Dusty, here's the mic. You take it away. It's going to be fun.
You're going to hear that. I can't take it anymore.
That's what Dusty said?
Yeah, I think I have it. Hold on.
Do you have it?
You should have it on your board.
I have it. I have to turn it on. You got to turn the...
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, let me fire it up. But you got a couple of texts you want to get to really quickly as I fire it up?
Let me see here. Let me scroll. I mean, the nasty chat is impossible to keep. T-Man says McDavid definitely looked disinterested or frustrated with his mates. I think more frustrated and maybe a little bit tired. He has played a lot of hockey here. He played 4 extra games. So I understand that, but he's got to be better. I mean, he can be frustrated all he wants. He's got to look in the mirror because he hasn't been that good in the last 3 games. -9 combined for the best player in the world. So not a good enough. Last good goalie was Rolison, says Gordon. Yeah. I mean, yeah, on the Oilers for sure. Because I was going to say Doobie, but he wasn't. Like, he was decent here on some bad teams. Talbot was great for 1 year.
I had one great year. One great year.
Talbot was great, yeah.
Dusty Nielsen tomorrow morning. You got to turn it up on my end here.
It is up.
Is it really?
Oh, wait. Do it again.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore.
That's going to be Dusty tomorrow. So make sure everybody that's sending the takes today, send them in the morning show because I want to get Dusty as fired up as possible for tomorrow.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig. Tables and games.
One more time. Dusty, how are you going to be tomorrow?
I can't take it anymore.
I love this board. All right. We're having too much fun. We're getting silly when we should be serious and angry and upset because the Oilers with 2 absolute duds back-to-back afternoons in Philly, in Washington, 3-game losing streak. First one since the very start of the year. What are they going to do? Cats and dogs living together. Worlds collide. No, I'm just kidding. It'll all be for naught, and everybody will be happy if they win in Tampa on Tuesday. What they need to do is get a save from whoever starts in goal, sharpen up defensively, and get those feet moving in the offensive zone. Usually a good combination. We'll see if a day of rest can help them do that. That will do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. The Oilers lose 7-3 to the Washington Capitals. Alex Ovechkin, the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game, hat trick. For Shawn, Belle, Hernan, Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola. Say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for playing along. Maybe you got mad at us. It's all good. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.